Thought you knew all that there was to know. Thought you'd landed the final blow. But I will rise up now.
You shall rise.
I will rise up now.
Rise and shine.
I will rise up now. I will rise up now.
I'm David, they get lied in the Philistine. They really the Nephilim, if anything. So I really gotta rise up with this rockin' stream. Ain't really concerned with limits, so I push it to extremes. With fire, I bring magic. With my voice, I'm bringing balance. Bringing nothing short of talent, while I'm steady showing balance. Superseding is my status. When you dream, make it established. Guess I'm clashing with the titans, but this war sounded inviting. Don't mean to like it, but it's the only way to survive it. On this journey, keep it climbing. Once you peak it, the landslide, spread your wings and hang gliding. They just mad, they ain't got it. Just make sure when you show up in the flash that you bring the heads lightning.
But you knew all that there was to know. Thought you'd landed the final blow. But I will rise up now. I will rise up now. I will rise up now. I will rise up now.
Spiritually, I'm a phoenix that's rising from the ashes. You seen how it was drastic, gave plenty like me to max it. In the streets, we say they tax me. The DA laugh at them, them dirty, evil bastards. Highway of life, I had to crash it. No subtract, but they do math at me. They say we African, the dreads got everything. I was seeing low, I had to see how giraffe I can. These streets of war, I'm trying to make it out of Pakistan. Keep your wars, my peace. So how you been, sis?
Great. Having a ball. Literally. I'm having the time of my life, Calico.
That's for sure.
Yep. Slowed all the
That's
way
for
down
sure.
35 miles per hour. How are you, bro?
For sure, cruising.
That's what's up.
Cruising around the block. And for sure.
Peace to the chat.
We all right.
Okay.
Because like I said, Lemuria. So we got Mu, which is on the other side of California, actually. Because some people or different scholars gonna tell you that, or they think that Mu is Atlantis. But you know, according to this map and other scholars, that's not the case. Mu is not Atlantis. It's his own continent. Because there was times that we actually thought Atlantis was in the Pacific Ocean because of the folklore of Mu, the continent that was over there. And Mu is not Atlantis, and one is in the Pacific, one is in the Atlantic. But then you also have Lemuria, which is in the Indian Ocean, not far from the Pacific. And I don't quite have an image of it because, you know, this is hypothetical shape of Atlantis and Mu. But this is where they were. This is what scholars would tell you that they're located. Yeah. So.
Were located.
Yeah. Because we would say they're underwater now. You know, these sunken lands. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, that's it's imaginable to think how a whole landmass sank, and I would think some parts would be visible, or some things would be floating or able to be found, bodies, giants, whatever,
I
down
mean,
there,
nah.
down there.
I mean, that's always so easily said. Like, I don't think if we threw away a person right now, that there would be no evidence of that sucker. I'm just saying. You know, it's
A
like
person, a
it's like the
person,
mob. You know
uh,
how the mob give people concrete? I mean,
right,
cement
right.
boots. Yeah. Like, I don't think there's no evidence of those people down there. But I
People,
get,
people versus a continent, though. One's gonna be
yeah,
way
yeah,
bigger.
but it's ancient and all. But I'm finna show you some evidence since you asking for
Yes,
evidence.
I am.
Yes. All right.
I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I do
No,
believe
no, no, no. Of course not.
it happened.
Yep. Let me see. If that pops it up. That should pop it up. Let me see. Because if not, they playing. And I'm gonna have to just retype it. Okay, okay, okay. They know what time it is. At least they ain't playing too much. Yeah, they don't wanna show you everything. It looks like. And my computer moving slow for some reason. But you can imagine they just don't want to show this good stuff. Yeah. All right, all right, all right. Okay. Now there we go. This is more suitable.
Yeah. Okay.
Cause this is yeah. This would be better anyways to show them concerning Queen Mu. We talking about Queen Mu and Atlantis and all that. There's nothing better to show you. Let me see if I can go. Let me go inside this article. Yeah. So I guess I got to do this to go show it to you. And everything moving slow. I don't like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Got a few comments. Yes, yes. We got the family in the building. 10-4 Media. Y'all go subscribe. I got to get that
Peace,
brother a wrench.
peace to Big Dog, Philly OG, and everybody else in the chat. Shout out Music Land HQ 82.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we got Cherie Reed L in the building.
Mhm.
Peace to the God. Is, is my audio straight?
Absolutely.
All right, all right. Yeah, it's moving slow. I don't like it. It's making me mad.
Mm.
Yep, moving real slow. But we finna get it in. Like I was stating about Atlantis, and I just showed you the location. You know, it's called a hypothetical location for Atlantis. that we find this civilization beneath the sea, located where Atlantis was. This is right here in the Caribbean, right?
Right.
Like I say, since we finna get into Queen Mu and how the Mayans are where the folklore of Queen Mu comes from. Queen Mu, pretty much when she got mad at her husband, she wanted to go to her secluded spot, her place called Atlantis, that she normally goes and travels. And then one day, when she gets to the location, Atlantis is no longer. So it has sunken. Mhm.
Mm.
And this is a Mayan goddess, Queen Mu. So Queen Mu travels to Egypt, mhm, and sets up a civilization. And Queen Mu would be the goddess Hathor, huh? As evidence by this underwater civilization where Atlantis would have been, right there in the Caribbean. You see, pretty much the bull's head or the cow's head,
Right.
the goddess Hathor. So let me see if I have to I zoom in for you. I can zoom in just to show y'all that's definitely Hathor.
Right.
And there's even the sun disk above the head. Yep. And you can just, and the fish, swimming around the civilization. Mm. Yeah, this ain't no CGI. We so used to seeing CGI bull crap that we not hit to this. Matter of fact, let me press play.
It's 100% verified.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now they're saying that this one is located off Sweden, but we're gonna read about it anyways. Watch this.
Okay.
An ancient civilization discovered beneath the sea.
Hey, matter of fact, sister, y'all seen it? Can you help us out?
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Salute to Red Squid X. But thousands of years ago, in legions beneath the sea, exists a civilization, and it's not Atlantis. No, this civilization is 100% verified, and it exists just off the coast of Sweden. So, researchers from Lund University found a Stone Age civilization brimming with ancient artifacts such as fish traps and an elk antler axe. These items are up to 9,000 years old and reveal an ancient language which researchers have yet to crack. Wow. So, ancient submerged cities are actually quite common. Oceanside real estate has always been a hot commodity, and during the last glaciation, sea levels were much lower than they currently are. So the ancient lagoon civilization off the coast of Sweden was found over 65 feet below sea level. Wow. Um, can we 65 feet? I was going to say if we can convert that to miles, we might get a better idea. But anyway, the divers sought this and similar civilizations out in their search for answers. If you want to understand fully how humans dispersed from Africa and how they lived their lives, we also have to find all their settlements, says PhD student Anton Hansen. So as technology has improved, researchers like Anton Hansen has been able to discover even more about these ancient societies using the bathymetric uh, bathymetric maps to detail offshore landscapes. It turns out that the people in this civilization had relatively comfortable lives with warm summers and plentiful food. Okay. I could see that if it was a golden age. You know, I'm gonna look about that conversion from 65 feet to miles. Yeah, that's not very far. 0.0123 miles. That's not far at all. Did you hear that, Calico? Well, I converted the 65 feet into miles.
Yeah, it's nothing. Ain't no
It's not
65 feet. I mean, it's a lot to us, but it's not when not when you equate it to miles. It's
right.
definitely not that
Exactly.
much.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's way more than 1,000 feet in a mile, I would think, or something of that sort. Let me see.
Right. It don't even seem like it's yeah, it's not, it's definitely not sitting that deep, depending on where it fell to. I mean, if it fell somewhere else, I'm sure there's deeper waters that where it could have really, really sank. Um, but yeah, divers would be able to find that. They don't even have to go. It's not even a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, I'm finna pull this up.
If you want to understand fully how
and now that video want to play, I ain't with
how
that.
they live their lives, we also have to find all their settlements, and quite a few of their settlements are today underwater because during the last glaciation sea.
Yeah, you know I don't want to hear that now. Too late. All right. Apologies. Yeah, my Wi-Fi moving slow. But boom, here we go. Mm. Right. Ancient underwater ruins of Cleopatra. The ancient underwater ruins of Cleopatra sunk into the sea more than 1,500 years ago. Historians believe that things like earthquakes and tidal waves caused the downfall of Cleopatra's place. The ancient underwater ruins of Cleopatra Place are found under the Mediterranean Sea off the shore of a big city called Alexandria. Yeah, it's a couple of cities right over there too. Um, Heraklion is one. Basically where Heracles or Hercules, comes from, showing that it's really Egyptian.
Some of the discoveries included things like shipwrecks, a statue of the goddess Isis, and a sphinx. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
Isis priest holding Osiris jar, statue made of black granite. Isis priest holding Osiris jar, statue of black granite.
Wow. There's really a whole nother world down there.
Yep, marble head of a Roman princess, Antonia Minor, mother of Emperor Claudius, unearthing underwater treasures. All right. Yeah, I'm still finna get to the one I really wanted to show you. Because maybe this article right here give us more of it. Here we go. Right. Okay. Yep. That same image is a better view of it, showing you the whole sun disk above the head, showing you that's not just any old bull, that's Hathor.
Right.
Or should I say Queen Mu? I'm giving her title back. Y'all need to know what time it is. You know, the real
And
Queen Mu.
And the Mu is for.
Yeah, Mu. Oh, definitely a Moor. I know, you know.
Right.
Yep. This is the cow that jumped over. What's above her head? The moon.
Yes,
for real. That's why you'll see stars on the belly of Hathor. You know, you'll see, you know, that starry sky.
Right.
Representing that universe. And you know, showing that she's actually celestial. So this cow jumped over the moon.
And so, and everything that we see down there is like one big piece, or was none of it detachable to bring up? Or
I'm sure they brought some stuff up. You know that if they had to chop it off, they're gonna bring some stuff up. Yep.
Yeah, I was just wondering why it's not more popular, but that can be because they don't want us looking at our deities or you know, anybody from that's not Greek or Roman deities, because those actually were the gods of that day. But I can see why they wouldn't want us digging into that.
Yep. Like they saying, oldest discovered submerged city to date is Atlantis in Israel, right? And it says existence goes back to the Neolithic period, 9,000 to 10,000 years ago. But this is the one I was telling y'all about, where it says Thonis or Heraklion. Heraklion is how you say Heracles or Hercules, which is, you know, Samson of the Bible. But this city of Heraklion is definitely Egyptian. You know, it is littered with nothing but Egyptian relics. So who is Heracleon. Who is Hercules? Obviously, he's Egyptian. That's what I'm getting at. You know. Let's see. See if we get a little visual. It is moving too slow for me. I could just show you images of Heracleon. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But okay, Port Royal, Jamaica. Huh? Now they're gonna have to play this. They got me messed up. Like I say, it's English trade in the Caribbean Sea, right? So this is an underwater city.
The team is hoping to find a tavern where Morgan himself
Underwater city in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
One second.
Hmm. Peace to the new members in the chat. Organized Noise, Terrence Jones, Nicholas Jones, and Lady Owl. Peace, Terrence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And so these are whole continents that are drowning, and not just, like the actual panhandle on Florida or California breaking off. I mean, this is just.
I mean, it always starts off as something subtle. I would say it always starts off as something subtle to the point that, yeah, like a part of it, like put it like this, Miami is going underwater at all times. Like Miami is always going underwater. Louisiana is always going underwater. And I don't mean yearly, I mean daily. Every day, the land is receding and receding and receding from those places. So, where you're standing, if you were to stand on the edge, it won't be there very, very much longer. It's always steady moving back. Just like Hawaii is always growing. every day Hawaii grows. You know, it's supposed to be like an inch or so. I'm sure it's probably more than that because it's the volcanoes is the reason that it grows every day. So at the same time, the water is the reason these other places are shrinking every day. Yeah. Because they put the one I was speaking of as the front picture, but they didn't even make it one of their top 7, which made no sense. See, they got the picture right here, but then they don't even have it on their top 7.
Right.
But yeah, let me go to another one real quick.
I'm wondering how they're doing.
Like that was an oxymoron. How they gonna have the dating?
Yeah. Are they carbon dating, or how carbon dating only goes back so far? So I'm just wondering how they coming up with these years, or how old the ruins are.
Exactly. Let me see.
Yeah, I would think that needs to be on display.
Yeah. Let me see if they got enough sense to say it when I do this.
Do you think that?
Okay.
You think that stuff is
Well, matter of
enclosed,
fact,
just floating, or just
you say is it
enclosed?
Oh no, it's not enclosed. No, it's not. No, it's not by design in the water.
Right. So I'd expect to see a lot more aqua stuff out there floating around. If it's been there for that long, I mean, it still looks like it's pretty pristine and exclusive. I mean, with Hathor being a deity, a major a deity, the frequency, the energy around her, I expect like would be something breathtaking or awe-inspiring. Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I never really thought about going and look to see what they're uncovering in the oceans. I know is this place isn't considered to be near where Atlantis fell, is it? I mean, does it have any magnetic abilities as far as that area that we like to call the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, a lot of times it's not necessarily the fact of any metal. Like, that would be the reason something would happen like that in the modern age. Like, we got all these skyscrapers and all these buildings that are purely metal. So if they were located in a strongly magnetic place, then yeah, they're gonna fall. But what's happening is, people are living on beachfront properties, like with the city of Heraklion.
Mm-hmm.
Heraklion, it was just too much megalithic structures, and it was basically on the on the beachfront property. It was on the shoreline basically, and it was a city built up towards that shoreline, and it was well built up. It was like having downtown, right there, right there where the beach is at. You feel me? Instead of having little beach houses, we got we got our biggest structures, skyscrapers, right there. Yeah, that won't work. And these coaches have showed you, because I mean that's probably what happened in Lemuria and all of these places, is that them being so advanced, they want to travel and levitate these giant rocks and bring them over here, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they traveling giant, huge rock. There's no way you can move these rocks. They traveling these rocks. They bringing them to the certain lands and creating monoliths, and it's too much weight on one land. You know what I mean? It's just too much weight.
Right.
Like, we building up too much in certain places. That's why they call them civilizations for some reason. Just because the fact is that a lot of people would pile up in these areas. A lot of people were living in these areas and building and creating in these areas. So they looked at as civilizations. Let's see. We got this person right here, a lady out talking about the ley lines. And that's the same thing you was just speaking on, how you was asking. You're like, do they have any magnetic properties in these lands, in these areas? Yep. Yep.
Well,
I mean, that's why the name of the city is Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's named after that.
I was trying to reference it to the energy surrounding it, also, not just the weight, but the actual energetic attraction or force.
Mm-hmm.
The energy surrounding Hathor, and is this her temple or her the continent of Mu? The whole continent. And yeah, you can imagine that back then there wasn't as many people, so it wouldn't be like a continent looks now, overly populated and with buildings and people everywhere, and yeah. It had to be really solid though, because it looked like a lot of it is standing just like it was. A little rubble here and there, but it looks pretty solid.
Well, I think I got it, because I've been thinking I had it, but I didn't. Even though all of those are important, I just wanted to pretty much get to this one. Right? Because this is an underwater sunken city. Located in where? Cuba, in Cuba. And we can see that those are some pyramidal structures.
Right.
I don't think I'm lost. I'm not lost, am I?
Huh.
Watch this. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna share this other screen. Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you get it in, sis. I ain't gonna slow you down.
All right. Let's bring it. So what happened to the sunken city of Cuba? Just over a decade ago, a team of explorers were working on an exploration and survey mission off the western coast of Cuba when their sonar equipment picked up a perplexing series of stone structures lying some 650 meters below the surface. So the structures appeared completely analogous against the barren desert of the ocean floor. It seemed
Analogies.
to mhm, analogy and not okay. So it seemed to show symmetrically organized stones reminiscent of an urban development. So a media flurry soon ensued with news sites sporting headlines such as Atlantis discovered in Cuba and Lost City under Caribbean found. However, the finding also attracted the attention of the government, National Museum, and National Geographic, who all made promises to investigate the strange sonar images. Now, 10 years on, the story has disappeared into obscurity. Whatever happened to the sunken ruins of Cuba? Were they ever fully investigated? And why has the media fallen silent on this unusual discovery? Yeah. The same reason why they're silent on Antarctica. So anyway, the discovery was first made in 2001 when Pauline Zaletsky, a marine engineer, and her husband Paul Winswig, owners of a Canadian company called Advanced Digital Communications, or ADC, were working on a survey mission in conjunction with the Cuban government off the tip of the Guanacaibes Peninsula in the Pinar del Rio province of Cuba. So ADC was one of four firms working in a joint venture with President Fidel Castro's government to explore Cuban waters, which hold hundreds of treasure-laden ships from the Spanish colonial area. So the team was using advanced sonar equipment to scan a 2 square kilometer area of the seafloor when they noticed that this nigga is moonwalking forward. Maybe he's doing it backwards. I can't tell. He should pull his pants up though. Put a real shirt on. Yeah, what's this cat doing? Oh shit.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even know I pressed that damn button, to be honest with you. But I did mean to tell him to smash that like button. That's it.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah, I ain't mean to hit the other button. I apologize. It's lagging a little bit too. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get back with it.
Peace to the Moorish princess.
All right.
So
You ready, sis?
yes. So upon studying the sonar images, Zalatsky observed what appeared to be unusual formations of smooth blocks, crests, and geometric shapes. Some of the blocks looked like they were built in pyramid shapes, Others were circular. In July 2001, they returned to the site with geologist Manuel Iturralde, senior researcher of Cuba's Natural History Museum, this time equipped with a remotely operated vehicle to examine and film the structures. So the images revealed large blocks of stone resembling hewn granite, measuring about 8 feet by 10 feet. Some blocks appeared deliberately stacked atop one another, others appeared isolated from the rest. Zaleski said that the images appeared to reflect the ruins of a submerged city, but was reluctant to draw any conclusions without further evidence. So Cuba is the
Yep.
place where they had that something sonic going on a few years back with it was only pretty much affecting the people from the United States who were over there as diplomats or whatever. Do you recall that happening? Like illnesses?
I remember that happening in Korea, in North Korea. I remember that happened.
Don't hear about the Cuba one while Obama was president?
Like I said, I remember. I remember for sure. I remember it happening in North Korea
Hmm.
for sure. Not to say you're wrong.
Right. So anyway, these are extremely peculiar structures, and they have captured our imagination, said Introld, who has studied countless underwater formations. But if I had to explain this geologically, I would have a hard time. So estimating that it would have taken 50,000 years for such structures to have sunken to the depth in which they were said to be found. Terrell added, 50,000 years ago, there wasn't the architectural capacity in any of the cultures we know of to build complex buildings. So a specialist in underwater archaeology at Florida State University added, quote, it would be cool if they were right, but it would be real advanced for anything we would see in the new world for that time frame. So the structures are out of time and out of place, end quote. Hmm. Wow. It was the last island for them to infiltrate. Mhm. Yeah. So, in the media storm that followed the announcement of the discovery, news sites were quick to draw parallels with the fabled lost city of Atlantis. However, Zaleski and Wingsweg were unwilling to make such compromises. The story is myth, says Zaleski. What we have found is more likely remnants of a local culture, once located in a 100-mile land bridge that joined the um, Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula with Cuba. Iturralde added that there are local legends of the Maya and native um, Yucatecos. Do you know the pronunciation of that word?
Nah,
Yucatecos.
you said it right. You said it right.
That okay? So they tell
Take
of an island.
take us.
Okay,
Almost
Yucatecos.
like Texas. Almost like Texas.
Right, yeah, I can hear the similarity.
Yeah.
So, but they talk about an island inhabited by their ancestors that vanished beneath the waves. Nevertheless, Erturalde does not discount the possibility that the rock formations are merely the result of the wonders of Mother Nature. Nature is able to create some really unimaginable structures, he said. So, despite hundreds of media outlets reporting on sunken cities, advanced civilizations, the lost city of Atlantis, and submerged ruins, there are other others who are not so willing to accept this point of view. So Keith Fitzpatrick Matthews from the debunking website Bad Archaeology claimed that the depth of the alleged remains, depth, bring it back, peace to the chat. Peace to the chat, says Elizabeth Young. So, okay, let's see. Nevertheless, Turadal does not discount the possibility that the rock formations are merely the result of the wonders of Mother Nature. Nature is able to create some really unimaginable structures, he said. So, despite hundreds of media outlets reporting on sunken cities, advanced civilizations, lost city of Atlantis, submerged ruins, there are others who are still not so willing to accept this point of view. Okay, yeah, I think I read that already. So Keith Fitzpatrick Matthews from the debunking website Bad Archaeology uh, claimed that the depth of the alleged remains are the biggest problem for the sunken city proponents. So during Pleistocene, which was characterized by a series of ice ages, sea levels dropped significantly, but the maximum drop was around 100 meters. Mm. Yeah, I definitely will be taking some looks at archaeology as it relates to the ocean from now on. It's very, very interesting. And with that being read, Calico.
Hey,
Yeah.
the show ain't over, but sister, let the people know who you are and how they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yasini in the house on YouTube, Denise Grant on Facebook, and you can always find me and my products for sale at YasiniUniversity.com, and that is Yasini University LLC, by the way. And so I'm looking forward to um, being here again with Calico.
Hey, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sister Yacht, what's
I
wrong
can
with
hear
this thing? Okay,
you. I can
okay.
hear you.
My bad. If you could finish that, the last statement.
Yes, sir. Yes. So at my last statement was that I was gonna look forward to joining you at a later date and time on your platform or maybe mine. And thanks for having me here. Thanks for having me. I did check to see if my
It's
meeting was
moving
going
very slow.
yet, so I don't
Yeah,
say
I'm having all these kind of delays.
so. Peace out.
Let me check my audio.
Thank you.
Peace and love. So back to it. Waiting on this picture to do what I say. This thing is moving slow. It's sad. Okay, y'all can see that, but my button's moving slow. All right. because at no point during the Ice Age would it have been above sea level, unless, of course, the land on which they stand has sunk. This is the claim made for Atlantis. According to Plato's account, it was destroyed by violent earthquakes and floods. However, if we take Plato at his word, as we must if we assume Atlantis to have been an historical place, the violence of its sinking makes it improbable that an entire city could have survived plunging more than 600 meters into an abyss. If we assume that he is right and that these stone structures do not reflect an ancient submerged city, but are simply products of nature, wow, then surely geologists and other scientists would be quick to jump on the finding and investigate what freakish event of nature caused such peculiar formations. Strangely, however, there have been no reported follow-up investigations, and news outlets have gone deathly silent on the matter. What happened to all of the promises from the government, National Museum, National Geographic, and other scientists to carry out further surveys? The quick dismissal of the story has led some to question whether there has been a suppression of information regarding the finding. However, Fitzpatrick Matthews claims the stories simply went cold, and that in the end, experts were not convinced that Zelensky had really discovered the city. Yeah. Yeah. Right here in the Bahamas, right in, right where we, right where we call Cuba. Excuse me. We got these. All right. But yeah, we need to go ahead and get back to Queen Moo. I was just basically catching y'all up with a lot of different sunken cities. Because I don't think you know. Right? And now we're on the lost continent of Mu. Tapping in. And it's something else that you see this symbol right here. Of course, it looks like a female's hair with maybe a necklace on her, yada yada, curly hair. But essentially, that symbol is called Inanna's knot. And I'm the only person ever broke it down and showed how Inanna's knot was where we call Samaria and Egypt. And it's a headdress every time. You feel me? So it's a crown showing the ruler of that land. And Egypt and Samaria both had Inanna's knot on their headdress. I can show you that, after this. Because ain't nobody ever bust that gate open. Yep, but the lost continent of Mu. All right. The motherland of man. Why? Because we are Moors. Mu means original. So who are the original people? The Moors. No way around it. Matter of fact, let me make sure. Do I have this look clip? Now let me just keep moving. But boom. Y'all go ahead and smash that like button for me too. I appreciate y'all. We finna turn up. All right. In the preface, I like how he said, but all matters of science in this work are based on translations of certain ancient Nako tablets, which I discovered in India many years ago. These tablets were written either in Burma or in Mu, the lost continent, and their extreme age is attested by the fact that legendary history says that Nakos left Burma more than 15,000 years ago. Some of the subjects embodied in these tablets are an account of the creation of the earth, life and its origin, the origin and the workings of the forces. With the aid of the high priest of the temple, I deciphered and translated these tablets, which unfortunately were only fragments of the various subjects. I spent many years proving, as far as possible by experimentation, that the facts set forth were true. This work represents over 50 years of investigation and research and embodies what I have found written on these ancient and intensely interesting tablets. The gist of them indubitably establishes to my own satisfaction that at one time the earth had an incalculably ancient civilization, which was in many respects superior to our own and far in advance for us in some important essentials that the modern world is just beginning to have cognizance of. These tablets with other ancient records, right, bear witness to the amazing fact that the civilizations of India, Babylonia, Persia, Egypt, and Yucatan were but the dying embers of this great past civilization. I desire here to express my appreciation and thanks. Okay, he shouting out these people who helped him in his studies and his journeys. Okay, boom, boom, boom. We on to the next. I really wanted to go down because y'all ain't ready for all that. We'll be all yo. But let's see. All right. Where we at? All right. Okay. I guess this is out of the Book of the Dead. That's why you say he collected all of these. All right. In the Book of the Dead. Let me see. All right. Yeah, we're going to skip this. This is what I want right here. Make sure. Yep, the lost continent of Mu. All right. Boom. I will now take a few vignettes from the Book of the Dead, decipher and translate them to show the connection between the Book of the Dead and Mu, the motherland, because we do call the hieroglyphs Medu, Netta, Medu meaning mother, and then Netta meaning nature, so mother nature. So the Book of the Dead and Mu, the motherland, right? Vignette 1. This is an Egyptian compound symbol. Vignette 1 right here. It's a compound. It's not a single symbol. That's why I try to tell people a lot of times. We got to know that we be looking at multiple symbols, but they finna explain it. This is an Egyptian compound symbol or vignette describing the destruction of Mu, found in the Book of the Dead. Is the Egyptian symbol for flames of fire. Is the hieratic letter M of the motherland and her alphabetical and geometrical symbol, and one of the most commonly used symbols for her. is an ancient symbol depicting an abyss, a tank or pit. We know that this continent sunk into the abyss. Is this tank or abyss filled with fire? Thus the vignette reads, Mu has gone down into an abyss of fire, and as she sank, flames of fire shot up around her and enveloped her. This is told by flames being set all around. Okay, I'm just checking on the people right quick. Islam. All y'all good people. Let me see. Yeah, y'all definitely smash that like button for me. And we're going to continue. Hold on. I like that. Peace of my brother Hunter. Yeah, speaking on that symbol once again, let me show it one more time. Okay. Thus the vignette reads, Mu has gone down into an abyss of fire, and as she sank, flames of fire shot up around her and enveloped her. This is told by flames being set all around. One of the most prominent symbols on account of is being so often repeated is a conventional altar, over which is a set sun, and above the sun, a dead closed lotus. So let's look at that again. Let me get to it. One of the most prominent symbols on account of its being so often repeated. It was that main image, figure 2, they just said Mu. It's a conventional altar. Over which a sun is set, or over which a set sun, and above the sun, a dead closed lotus. This compound symbol is found scores of times among the vignettes of the Book of the Dead, and a notable fact. Okay, this is the lotus. So one of the most prominent symbols on account of its being so often repeated is a conventional altar, over which is a set sun, and above the sun, a dead closed lotus. So this is the set sun right here over this altar. The altar, the set sun, the closed lotus. This is not bloomed. It looks like a violet or a tulip because it hasn't bloomed. This is a closed lotus over the set sun, over the altar. So this compound symbol is found scores of time among the vignettes of the Book of the Dead, and a notable fact. So this is often repeated. Or is that the lotus? Is that the lotus is invariably depicted as dead and closed throughout the book? I would decipher and translate this little vignette. Is the Egyptian conventional form of an altar? 1 is the Egyptian conventional form of an altar. 2 is the sacred lotus flower, the sacred floral symbol of Mu. Is the sun without rays, symbolizing that the sun has set, gone down beyond the horizon, being placed below Mu? The lotus, it symbolizes that the sun has dropped below the horizon of Mu. The sun has forever set on dead Mu. All is darkness. Mu is in the region of darkness. Before the submersion of Mu, her common geographical symbol was a 3-pointed figure, reading, The lands of the West. Did we hear that? The three areas of land which compose the motherland. Wow. Okay. So it sounds like you're talking about North America, South America, and Mu as being those three lands which compose the motherland, called the lands of the West. After Mu was submerged, her geographical location was called the region of darkness. And in this condition, she was symbolized by placing a sun without rays over the center point. Occasionally, the center point was cut out altogether and a rayless sun substituted. Like, that's really paying attention to the symbols. When you notice, oh, there's no rays on that sun. You know, it's a setting sun. And but the vignette of chapter 81 in the Book of the Dead, Egyptologists have described this vignette as a head peeping out of a lotus flower. The last line of the 81st chapter reads, I am a pure lotus sprung out of the field of the sun. The deciphering of this vignette is, the head represents an Egyptian and Egyptians as shown by the headdress. The head has arisen out of a lotus. The head has arisen out of a lotus. Right? The lotus is shown as dead and closed. In this vignette, the lotus is dead Mu. Translated, it reads, the Egyptians came from Mu, a land which is dead and exists no more. So hold on now. The Egyptians came from Mu. Do we not understand? Mu, her common geographical symbol was a three-pointed figure. You know, or basically Mu is in the region of darkness, right? Or should I tell you again, the lands of the West? Like I said, North America, South America, and Mu. The lands of the West, the three areas of land which composed the motherland. North America, South America, Mu. Right? So they just told you that the Egyptians are from Mu. They are from the West. They are from the lands of the West. Right? We'll catch up one more time. Hold on. Like I say right here, I'm put at the top. But the Egyptians came from Mu. Like I said, land of darkness. Like that's why they'll say right now, a land which is dead and exists no more. But it's still from the lands of the West. So there was three lands. So if Mu doesn't exist anymore, there's still two lands. The lands of the West. You know, Mu was the third, or maybe the first. Either or, it was a part of the trio. You know, the trio of Dios, the original Dios. But the last line is the crux of the whole chapter. I'm a pure lotus. Means I am a pure descendant from the people of Mu. And you'll even hear the Hindu speak on the lotus very, very much. But obviously, like they say, the saying, I am a pure lotus, means that you are a pure descendant from the people of Mu. You are a Muir. You are a Muir. There's no way around it. You know, all of us are more fond of M-U-U-R. You know, but I don't let that hold me up. That's just like when I say I'm a flat earther. I don't need nobody telling me it's not totally flat and not totally round. Like, I don't know. When I say I'm a flat earther, that means I know that. You know what I mean? So, for real, I'm a pure descendant from the people of Mu. So obviously you would have to be a Muir. a Moor, a Moor. So I'm not going to get hung up on M-O-O-R or M-U-U-R in this day and age. I got to get the point across. We could worry about the other stuff, something so petty, even though we know vowels are interchangeable, and we ain't going to worry about that. What I'm saying is, sprung from the field of the sun, corroborates the lotus. Like, that's how you know we are pure lotus. Us us melanated people. Because the sun, we photosynthesize sunlight. We synthesize the sunlight and create vitamin D, so-called vitamin D, which we know is a hormone. It's already in you. Your kidneys synthesize sunlight and create this vitamin that you need. So the same thing goes for the lotus. The lotus is sprung from the field of the sun. So it's telling you the sun corroborates what? The lotus. It's like saying the sun, like obviously plants photosynthesize. Photo meaning light. So they synthesize light. You photosynthesize if you're a pure lotus, if you're a Moor. If you're a Moor, you can corroborate with the sunlight. The field of the sun also means the empire of the sun, the imperial name of Mu. Mu in the tongue of the motherland meant mother. That's why Mu means original. So you're trying to say the mother don't mean that. I guess this is not synonymous. You have mother, land, field, country, empire, and mouth. A free reading of this vignette would be, I am an Egyptian of pure descent. My forefathers came from the motherland, Mu, the empire of the sun. Even the Hindu will tell you that the sun rises in what we call Peru and the Andes Mountains and such. The Hindu in their culture says that directly on the other side of their land is the land of the rising sun. And they're saying if you go all the way through the earth, you will come out on the other side and be in Peru. And they say that is the land of the rising sun. So the empire of the sun, which is now dead and gone, well, we just established that it's three lands. It's the lands of the West, not just one land of the West. The lands, the three lands, and we know North America and South America are still standing. And we don't know if Mu going or not. We ain't checked our own backyard. The Pacific Ocean hours, Atlantic Ocean hours, why we ain't traversed it. We ain't nothing like our ancestors right now at this point. But space will not permit me to decipher more vignettes from the Book of the Dead. A large volume could be filled with them. I will make one more note, which is all Egyptian, but only partially from the Book of the Dead. All ancient peoples, including the Egyptians, believed in the reincarnation of the soul. Our old Oriental tablets showed us that the ancients understood that the origin and the workings of all the forces. They knew that when a force had done its allotted duty, that which had been assigned to it by nature, it became exhausted, but not dead. A force cannot die any more than an element can die. An exhausted force is drawn back to the source of generation for regeneration, then to be passed into nature's storehouse, there to await the next call from nature. This is what the old tablets tell us. Now tell me that ain't some science. For real. That's kind of stuff I have to repeat. What's going on, my brother? Yep. I'm my brother PNF in the building. Girl behind the mic, Hunter 4D, Moorish Princess. Got my brother Talk Builds, Lady Owl, Miss Morshell, Red Squid, Michael Phoenix, Lady Owl, been rocking with me. Elizabeth Young, hope you still there, sis. All y'all, Terrence Jones, Organized Noise, Music Land, Cherie Reed L, 10-4 Media, Big Dog Philly OG. Y'all already know. Yep. You heard it. You heard it here first. I mean, people say it, but nobody want to, go to the sources. For real. That's for real. So this ain't number confirmation. That's how we rocking. We confirm stuff. Matter of fact, I'm gonna confirm this again because this was heavy. Yeah, our old Oriental tablets. That's why we gotta claim all these words. We can't keep playing. We know the word Ori. As soon as you see ORI in a word, it means original. So we have to be the origin. The original people. We have to be the Orientals. There's no way around it. Our old Oriental tablets showed us that the ancients understood the origin and the workings of all the forces. They knew that when a force had done its allotted duty, that which had been assigned to it by nature, it became exhausted, but not dead. A force cannot die any more than an element can die. An exhausted force is drawn back to the source of generation for regeneration, then to be passed into nature's storehouse, there to await the next call from nature. This is what the old tablets tell us. Man's soul is the greatest force connected with the earth except that of the deity. The soul of man was incarnated in the land of Mu. Come on now. Man, we gonna take it back. Y'all gonna be some Moors, man. I'm tired of this. Y'all gonna leave. Fuck it. Argue with me about being an M-U-U-R. Fuck it. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Since I say I'm an M-O-O-R, argue with me about you or M-U-U-R. Okay, fuck it. I like that argument better. You know what I'm saying? But using these these exonyms, these terms, these misnomers, nah, we ain't gonna do that. We tired of that. But yeah, the soul of man was incarnated in the land of Mu, the lands of the West. Once again, when man's body sleeps its last sleep and decomposes, his soul does not die with the body, but the ancients believe returns to the place of incarnation, Mu, there to await reincarnation from the time of Menes, when Upper and Lower Egypt became one kingdom down to about 2700 BC. There were two religious coasts in Egypt, known as the West Coast and the East Coast. The belief of the Lower Egyptians was that the soul traveled west to reach the place of reincarnation. So it seemed like, what? Hold on now. From the time of Menes, when Upper and Lower Egypt became one kingdom down to about 2700 BC, there were two religious cults in Egypt. It seemed like when they say known as the West Coast, it seemed like we way over here with it. We the true West Coast of Egyptians, of children of Mu, and they are the East Coast. And the belief of the Lower Egyptians was that the soul traveled west to reach the place of reincarnation. Yeah, I always tell people that. I always knew that from studying the Egyptians, that they say the soul travels west to the duet, to have your heart weighed up against the feather of truth. So this is the West. That's why we have a place called what? Haiti. Haiti is like, the European word Hades. Hades is their word for hell. But we know what we call in hell is not hell. Obviously, it's the underworld. The underworld is essentially heaven. You have to have your heart weighed up. If your heart don't weigh up, you do not make it to the underworld. So how could that be a hellacious place? That is heaven. We just think we're going up. No, you're going down if you're any good. If not, you already know you ain't going to weigh up. The Upper Egyptians claimed that the soul must travel east, the Upper Egyptians, to reach a celestial paradise. But yeah, that's after traveling west. All souls travel west to duet. Duet is where you get the heart weighed up against the feather of truth. And then you can ascend to the Amenti. It's called the Amenti, which I guess is back east to reach a celestial paradise. Both cults claim that the soul must travel back over the same road to the place of reincarnation by which their forefathers came to Egypt. When looking at the foregoing and reading the speculations of professional Egyptologists concerning these diametric cults, one is tempted to smile, for I have failed to find a single Egyptian authority who claims the origin and cause of these two cults, which at one time existed in Egypt. Yet the problem is easy to answer, as the following will prove. Lower Egypt was settled from the motherland via Mayax and Atlantis, both of which lay to the west of Egypt. Therefore, to reach the place of reincarnation from Lower Egypt and to travel back over the same road by which their fathers came, the soul had to travel back to the west. So where did their fathers come? Fathers came from the west. The Upper Egyptians, I see right now I'm gonna need a Tupac meme saying west side. Y'all know what time it is. But the Upper Egyptians came to Egypt from the motherland by way of Burma and India. Both of these countries lie to the east of Egypt, so that for the souls of the Upper Egyptians to arrive at the place of reincarnation and travel back over the same road by which their fathers came, they had to travel back to the east. So it is seen that both cults were right, although it took them many hundreds of years to find it out. The fusion of the two ancient Egyptian cults, that of Osiris, which originally believed in a paradise in the west, and that of the sun worshippers, who believed in a celestial paradise in the east. Yeah, that was a Osiris. Even though I got a video I'm finna do about Osiris. I got to piss some people off. You know what I mean? I rock with him. You know, he's the god of vegetation and all that good stuff. I know all the good, but I'm going to tell you, the things they might not know. But, because I be rocking with Set. Yeah. Set means throne. So I don't think it's by accident. And we know anciently, the Egyptians didn't even worship Osiris, or who we call Osiris, Asar. They didn't worship Asar and Horus or Haru. They didn't worship them anciently. Towards around what we call BC, right before that, a couple hundred years before that, that's when they started worshiping Osiris. But the real ancient world was worshiping Set. That's why Set means throne. That's why the goddess Aset, the female goddess, is named Aset, because she also sat on the throne. So I'm tired of people making Set look like the bad guy, because they just started reading. But anyways, shots fired. He know who he is with them videos he keep doing. But the fusion of the two ancient Egyptian cults, that of Osiris, which originally believed in the paradise in the west, and that of the sun worshippers, who believed in the celestial paradise in the east. Osiris, an ancient deified king, was identified with the gods of the Western cult, gods of vegetation. The early conflict between the two cults is echoed in the mortuary text, dating back till about 2700 BC. Like all Egyptologists, Mackenzie is sadly deficient in symbology. All fail to differentiate between the symbol and what it represents. They're not even probably telling you there's a compound symbol. They fail to remember that the ancients used a special symbol for every attribute of the deity, and that the sun was the collective symbol of all the attributes of the deity, and therefore represented the deity himself. So that's how you know God would be black, because it's saying that, it's saying it's the all, even when it comes to symbolically. So we know when you put all things together, if you put all man together, say God created man, okay, you put all men together, men and women. Yeah, we know what the genealogy is going to look like. It's going to be a Mu again, huh? It's going to be an original person again. It's going to be more. No way around it. So even symbolically, you put all the symbols together to create the creator symbol. The all, El Kalum. The upper Egyptians were not sun worshippers. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. As stated by Mackenzie, Ra, the sun, was their collective symbol for the deity. Temples were dedicated to Ra as representing the divinity, just as the cross today represents Christ. A symbol is an intimate reminder, mentally concentrating and bringing in closer touch with the eyes of the mind, bringing in closer touch and mental view the object addressed. With the use of symbols, many encroaching outside thoughts are driven away. A symbol permits of greater concentration. That's why I say signs and symbols are what? Signs and symbols are for the conscious mind. Let's see what's going on. That's for sure. I'm glad somebody else said it. Let it be known. But yeah, Mackenzie asserts that Osiris was an ancient king where people he reigned over. Mackenzie does not say. But it's over here. It's the West. The lands of the West. The Moors. It would be the Egyptians. If so, he is wrong again. Because then Thoth started the first lower Egyptian colony at Sais. He taught the Osirian religion, as various papyrus show. And that was 1,600 years ago from two different sources. I find it stated that Osiris lived in Atlantis 18,000 or 20,000 years ago. And that he was a great religious teacher, a master. The two Egyptian cults form another convincing proof that the advent of man on earth was on Mu, and that Mu was situated in the Pacific. The geographical position is thus positively established as east of Burma and west of Maya. So that would make it the Pacific Ocean, because they're not calling South America South America. They're calling it Maya. And they're putting an X like Mayas. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like saying Himalayas. They're saying the Mayas. And it's west of the Mayas. So, you know, the east of the Mayas is Africa. So the west of the Mayas is the Pacific Ocean. And that's what they're telling you, the location of Mu. It was east of Burma on the other, part of the world. In between Asia and Maya or South America is Mu, which, they're telling you it's in the Pacific Ocean. The destruction of the motherland was also commemorated in their religious ceremonies. The advancement of the novice to the second degree was by symbolically submerging him into a tank of fire to remind him of the fate that befell his forefathers in the beloved motherland, and also the hint where his soul must go for reincarnation. Is reflected in the Book of the Dead, chapter 22, where it said, I come, I do that which my heart wishes on the day of the fire, when I extinguish the flames as soon as they appear. Before closing my section on records, I think it is advisable to show corresponding records from all areas surrounding the Pacific Ocean. This will help readers to fully grasp the situation and the facts. I will first take the symbol, which is an 8-pointed star. It represents Saturn in different cultures. I would take the symbol, the royal escutcheon of Mu, the empire of the sun, a sun with 8 rays. And the particular design here given was found on the dress of Kootenai Indian living in British Columbia. Kootenai Indian living in British Columbia. The border of the dress of another Kootenai Indian was composed of a continuation of one of the symbols of Mu submerged. The garment, because that looks like a lotus flower from a top view. But it also represents the sunlight, because that's who the lotus flower corroborates with. Corroborates with the sun. It's a child of the sun. Same thing as you melanated people. You know, you got to synthesize that light. But the garment with the sun symbol was black. The sun is in pale yellow. The points of the rays in pale indigo blue, and the intervening. Okay, that remind you of the Jewish kind of symbol too, especially with the colors they name it. Between the sun and the points of the rays of pale reddish pink. Okay. Among the Indians of the northwestern section of North America are found the now famous totem pillars, the original meaning of which I gave on page 159. On page 49, I showed a picture of the royal escutcheon of Mu painted on the fan of one of the savages of the Gilbert Islands, 7,000 miles from British Columbia. Right? Matter of fact, let me show y'all something. All right, hold on. Oh, this thing moves damn slow. Okay, I could have did this. My bad. All right. All right, get past that. Right, yeah. Yeah, just go and get ready and maybe wrap it up. But the record of destruction of Mu, the motherland of man, is a strange one indeed. From it, we learn how the mystery of the white races in the South Sea Islands may be solved and how a great civilization flourished in mid-Pacific and then was completely obliterated in almost a single night. A few decades ago, scientists would have been very doubtful about the possibility of the former existence in the Pacific Ocean of a huge continent such as Mu. But since then, records have come to light and comparisons have been made which prove that such a land did at one time exist. The proofs are of several types. First, as I have already explained in the opening chapter, there are the sacred tablets found in an Indian temple and deciphered with the aid of a learned priest. These tablets gave me the first hint about Mu and sent me on a worldwide search. They had been writing about the Nakos, either in Burma or in the motherland. They told how the Nakos had originally come from the motherland, the land in the center of the Pacific. They also told the story of the creation of man and his advent in this land. Records of later date written in Maya, Egypt, and India tell and describe the destruction of this land of Mu. Yep, that's where I get the story of Queen Mu. It's a Mayan story, you know, and it's connected with Egypt, showing you that Queen Mu is Hathor. Yep, once again, you know, Queen Mu, the Mayan goddess, went to visit her land that she, you know, familiar with, and that was Atlantis. And one day when she went, it was not there. So she kept going and she went to Egypt and set up the land over there. And like I said, became the goddess Hathor. You feel it? So then she came back. So it's showing you we the same people. And it, everything that's established there and here was established by the same people. For real, for real. Second, there's when the earth's crust was broken up by earthquakes and then sank into a fiery abyss, then the waters of the Pacific rolled in over her, leaving only water where a mighty civilization had existed. Secondly, there is confirmation of Mu, and other ancient manuscripts, including such a classic as the Hindu epic Ramayana, written by the sage and historian Valmiki from the dictation of Narayana, the high priest of the Rishi temple at Ayodhya, who read the ancient temple records to him. In one place, Valmiki mentions the Nakos as coming to Burma from the land of their birth in the east, that is, in the direction of the Pacific Ocean. Other documents confirming the story of the sacred tablets in Valmiki are the Toronto manuscript, now in the British Museum. There's an ancient Maya book written in Yucatan. It speaks of the land of Mu, using the same symbols for Mu that we find in India, Burma, and Egypt. Another reference is the Codex Cortesianus, a Maya book of about the same age as the Toronto manuscript. Then there's the Lhasa record, with hundreds of others from Egypt, Greece, Central America, Mexico, and the cliff writings in other Western states. Third, there are existing ruins by which their location and the symbols with which they are decorated tell of the lost continent of Mu, the motherland of man. On some of the South Sea islands, notably Easter, Mangaya, Gaia meaning earth. So we're saying, man's earth, or, basically the land of man. That's when man was created. And once again, we back over there in those Easter Islands. Just like I showed how the people of that part of the world have the same DNA as the Native Americans. So it just adds validity to these stories, to the mythology that people are scared of. It shows it to be philosophy and not mythology. Yeah. And the Ladrone or Mariana Islands, there stand today remains of old stone tablets and lithic remains, which take us back to the time of Mu. At Uxmal in Yucatan, a ruined temple bears inscriptions commemorative of the lands of the West, whence we came, in the striking Mexican pyramid southwest of Mexico City, according to its inscriptions, was raised as a monument to the destruction of these same lands of the West. Fourth, there is the universality of certain old symbols and customs as discovered in Egypt, Burma, India, Japan, China, South Sea Islands, Central America, South America, and some of the North American Indian tribes and other seats of ancient civilization. These symbols and customs are so identical as to make it certain that they came from one source only, Mu. With this background, then we can follow the tale of the destruction of Mu. We find that this continent has a vast stretch of rolling country, extending from north of Hawaii down towards the south. A line between Easter Island and the Fijis formed its southern boundary. It was over 5,000 miles from east to west and over 3,000 miles from north to south. The continent consists of 3 areas of land divided from each other by narrow lands or seas. Basing my description on the record shown in chapters 4, 5, and 1, would try to picture her as she was, far back into very remote times, many, many thousands of years ago. And yet on the very edge of what we call historical times, there was a great continent in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where now we find only water and sky. The groups of small islands, which are today called the South Sea Islands, we got the Polynesian Islands over there too. That is in the South Sea, but it was a beautiful tropical country with vast plains. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Well, the story has it that all this great continent was teeming with very, very happy people, and life over which 64 million human beings reigned supreme. All this life was rejoicing in this luxuriant home. Broad, smooth roads ran in all directions like a spider's web. These roads were laid with smooth stone. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Many generations before the people had selected the king and added the prefix Ra to his name. He then became the hierarchical head and emperor name under the name Ramu. So the empire received the name Empire of the Sun. So it's all about Ra and Mu. Y'all better synthesize that light, man. Y'all gotta corroborate with the sun, man. We are pure lotus. I mean, we are children of Mu. All follow the same religion, a worship of the deity through symbols. So it's back to those Enochian runes. Y'all need to go check that video out. If if you're able to consciously swim, y'all definitely need to catch that. But you all believed in the immortality of the soul, which soul eventually returned to the great source from which it came. The dominant race in the land of Mu was a white race, exceedingly handsome people with clear white or olive skin, large, soft, dark eyes, and straight black hair. Besides this white race, there were people of other races, people with yellow, brown, or black skins. They, however, did not dominate. These ancient people of Mu. Yeah, we know who wrote this. We know who wrote this. You know, that's why you got to chew the meat and spit out the bones. 1 second we talking about original people, then we're gonna act like it's the new people. No, we talking about the oldest people. So we know who would have been the very, very minority if he would have been there. Even if we dealing with the 5 root races. Yeah. Yep, remains on the islands, other islands. Yep, Easter Island. All right. What's that? The destruction of Mu. Yep, and I just seen your boy Sanchez showing an image very similar to this, like a frozen image of the atomic bomb, basically. The temple and the palaces came crumbling to the ground. Damn. So that's really a volcano setting it off. And they're looking at the volcano as a lotus. Because everything grows from that char, that ash that comes from the volcano. It's the most fertile soil on Earth. It's crazy. Yeah. Y'all already know. If y'all got any questions, let me check the comments. Yeah. Like I said, this is the lost continent, of the motherland by James Churchward. Yeah. We know how you gotta put his people in the driver's seat. He gotta make his people look good. He don't give a damn if they Johnny come latelys. All right. Yeah, I have previously mentioned that a veil of darkness was cast over mankind by the destruction of Mu. But I mean this in a comparative sense only. The colonial empires for a time carried on the civilization of the motherland. Look at he giving the colonists, his ancestors, credit. and they carried on the civilization of the motherland, but without her aid, they gradually declined, then flickered out, and from their ashes, the new and present civilization has arisen. Signs and symbols are definitely for the conscious minds. Let's see what we got going. Okay. Got the brother Red Squid in the building. Yep. They would definitely switch it up. Yeah, they'll turn that Y into a J all the time. And then, vowels being interchangeable. That could work. I can see that. He said the weed is working. Okay, we got the brother Mark Nash in the building. It's 104D. Yep, yeah, I was thinking the same thing when they said, Ra attached with Mu or whatever. I'm like, dang, they just said Mu means mother. Like I said, original. So mother is Ma. So instead of Ra Mu is, that would have been the ancient way to say it. We say Ra Ma. We would say Ma. We wouldn't say Mu. Unless we connecting it with Queen Mu, and we start to understand that aspect of everything. Even the way we spell mother is with M-O. Same way you start to spell Mu. No way around it. For sure. Let me see what y'all got going on. Y'all popping up before we get up out of here, or what we gonna do? I definitely appreciate y'all. And I appreciate it if you tap that button. And if not, then I'm looking at you crazy. You know what I mean? Y'all already know. Yeah, but these people are definitely not the original people. They're not the people of Mu. Don't be fooled. They too new. They new on Earth. They can't be. Ain't no way around it. My video about narratives, right? We say, okay.
We form an emotional attachment to moments in history, to narratives in history, to people in history. And those emotional narratives then bind us to an idea about history that may not be supported by evidence. And then we look for the evidence that supports our narrative rather than allowing the evidence to drive our narrative.
Yeah. I hope that makes sense. Like people love to only find information that support their argument. Not, but it still don't be. It don't even be the words of the ancestors. Like they making this up themselves. Let's see. Matter of fact, I think we need to do that again and leave it out here. Let me see. I think that'll work. Y'all tell me how you like that.
Thought you knew all that there was to know. Thought Thought you landed the final blow, but I will rise up now.
Shall rise,
I will rise up now.
rise and shine.
I will rise up now. I will rise up now.
I'm David, they Goliath in the Philistine. They really the Nephilim, if anything. So I really gotta rise up with this rockin' stream. Ain't really concerned with limits, so I push it to extremes. With fire, I bring magic. With my voice, I'm bringing balance. Bringing nothing short of talent. While I'm steady showing balance. Superseding is my status. When you dream, make it established. Guess I'm clashing with the titans, but this war sounded inviting. Don't mean to like it, but it's the only way to survive it. On this journey, keep it climbing. Once you peak it, the landslide, spread your wings and hang gliding. They just mad, they ain't got it. Just make sure when you show up in the flash that you bring their heads lightning.
But you knew all that there was to know. Thought you landed the final blow, but I will rise up now. I will rise up now. I will rise up now. I will rise up now.
Spiritually, I'm a phoenix that's rising from the ashes. You seen how it was drastic, gave plenty like me to max me. In the streets, we say they tax me. The DA laugh at them, them dirty, evil bastards. Highway of life, I had to crash it. No subtract, but they do math at me. They say we African, the dreads got everything. I was seeing low, I had to see how giraffe I can. These streets of war, I'm trying to make it out of pack.